What do you wish the opposite gender would stop doing? Don't play hard to get in order to actually get a guy. Those kind of games of not answering or not telling the truth about intentions, desperately waiting for the guy to make the first move is just so stupid. And it gets dangerous when you say no to a guy in order to test if they really want me and if they'd fight for me. If you say no to me, I won't put a hand on you. I don't want to have to take the risk of fucking molesting you just because you can't tell the truth from the get-go. This method of testing a guy grants you getting assholes who don't care about consent. Besides the fact it fucking hurts to see you making out with other guys in front of me only to make me jealous and see if I would try to actively compete with them. And 99% of times it won't make me fight for you, but just accept that you want to make out with Mark and don't want anything from me. Also, stop assuming you can't make the first move or that a man is less of a man if he doesn't make it. The struggle is real, and from my experience, many women don't seem to realize that dating is incredibly easy for women compared to men. To my fellow males, on the other hand, I'd recommend be honest about your intentions and stop molesting women. Also, call guys out who do it and don't just accept it. And talk about your feelings. Yes, it's tough and it's probably going to be a bit awkward, but it has to be done. Women dropping hints instead of outright saying something. Want to know why Bob misunderstood your friendliness as flirting? All girls have been telling Bob that he's not looking for the hints instead of them being direct. Bob is confused. Thinking about being worried when going out in the city at dark o'clock only happens to girls. Yes, we're also worried when we're in a potentially dark situation. Yes, we also pause our music while our earbuds are in to hear if anyone is trying anything. We're preparing for the worst situation. A lot of women make it sound like we don't go through this. Crying during an argument when you did something wrong, or emotional manipulation. Unfortunately, I know a lot of women who don't do this purposely. Unfortunately, again, I've heard about a lot of women who do get out of it. I'm sorry, but if we're both adults, you're gonna have to either hold your tears back or keep the argument going despite them running down your cheeks and not just go off to a corner all of a sudden. Buying stuff for yourself when you're close to your birthday or Christmas. For fuck's sake, I don't know what to get you because you bought everything you wanted already. Saying I'm privileged. Yes, gender discrimination is a thing, but I had nothing growing up. Single mom with 3 kids, estranged father's side. I got almost no clothes at all that weren't hand-me-downs, had no allowance or any way to get anything I wanted or needed, no college fund, nothing. I walked an hour to and from school and didn't get my first beat-up car until I was 19. Never had an unfair promotion or higher wages than female colleagues or anything. Privilege exists, but it isn't based on gender or race. It's class and money, and I have neither. Your problem is with the 1% that's privileged or in control of everything. I have no more power than a low-class woman. All I can do is vote. When you assume I have male privilege, you're invalidating my struggles and making me a part of the problem when I was a victim too. Stop stereotyping while complaining about being stereotyped. Examples. Saying you don't want to be a housewife but expect your man to pay for all your stuff. Saying you hate fat shaming but would never date an overweight man. Saying you only date men with no kids but you have kids. Saying you don't want to have sex with your date but he still has to pay for your food. Saying you only date tall guys but you trash guys that don't date fat girls. Saying all men are trash when you think cheating or manipulation is empowering. Saying all men are sexual beasts when you have a Twitch or an OnlyFans. Saying men need the 3 6s, but you get upset when he asks what you bring to the table. I have more, but I think you get the point. A lot of women actually don't do this, just the dumb TikTok/entitled girls. Women, please make an effort to initiate any affection, sexual or otherwise. It's almost 2023, and despite all the steps forward in progressive thinking, the vast majority of women still hold on to the idea that it's the man's job to initiate any sort of physical affection. The same goes for things like asking your partner out on a date, It's unfair to expect men to have to be the only ones who have to put themselves out there. Many of us struggle immensely with rejection because it feels like courting is a one-way street where we have to do all the initial work. Honestly, I feel like it would do amazing wonders for our self-esteem if women asking men out on dates was normalized and way more common. Say it's fine or okay, well, it isn't. Being passive-aggressive, giving responses along the line of, if you can't figure it out, there is no use in me telling you. Discussing personal matters first with others, giving a very one-sided perspective that turns out quite different. Once discussing it with your SO that makes you feel embarrassed, then go back to the people you discussed it with in the first place, so your SO gets to deal with a lot of prejudice based on your one-sided interpretation. Not properly reflecting on a situation yourself before you tell us to reflect on yourself. Using being empathetic as an excuse not to have to rationally think about what you say. That's it for now, might add later. This is purely a girl thing that's been happening to me since primary school. But if a girl is dropping hints and I'm trying to keep things chill and friendly, then she goes and does dirty tricks to tease me or provoke me. Quite recently, a girl invited me for lunch with friends. Then at the absolute last minute, she calls and apologizes that there's no place in the car for me. Incidentally, she just told my friend yesterday that she's planning on inviting me to a Christmas party. Girls, please just be blunt. We appreciate that. I respect a strong woman that knows what she wants to say. I absolutely hate the ones that play mind games and pins everyone against you for rejecting her. I wish guys would stop staring down like a hawk without looking away. It makes me uncomfortable and is perceived as threatening rather than flirtatious, smile or not. I don't mean zoning out, I mean like following my movements like he's a sniper and he either wants to take me out on a date or with a rifle. I also wish women were more honest with each other. I end up spending too much time and energy with people who don't even like me, and I only find out in hurtful ways. Please just tell me if I'm making you uncomfortable or I'm just not your type of friend. I don't want to make things worse for everyone without even realizing it. I don't want to be mean, but on the Urban Dictionary, I looked up boy and man and stuff like that, but all the definitions that came up were about how boys can wear dresses and do anything a girl can. That is very true. Anyone can be who they want, but I was looking for a definition. It doesn't make a lot of sense because the definitions of girl or woman were like gorgeous and perfect. I'm a woman and that's nice to hear, but what about men? They just get what they can be, not what they are. Please tell me if I seem mean. I will take this down and apologize. Women who keep saying men are trash. Darling, you want a man with a six-pack, money, house, high-paying career, emotionally available, just everything perfect. But you work an unskilled job, have a huge sense of entitlement, no ambition, etc. And you think this man is gonna chase after you? Relationships are about working together, not just what a man can give you. If you see other women with these men, it's because they also offer him something to create a stronger partnership and encourage growth. Not some hood rat that wants to look in his bank account. Then men are not shit. You individually are shit. Girls, stop dropping hints that you like someone. Guys don't really get it. They prefer a straightforward, hey, I like you. Don't get angry when they don't pick up on your hints. Guys, if you see every single person opposing your relationship, like if you cannot find one person who is supportive of your relationship, reconsider dating the girl because something might be up. And for both girls and guys, trying to date someone else won't help you forget the feelings you have for somebody. Focus on yourself and stop trying to find rebounds. Digest the rejection first and stabilize your mental state before you get into a new relationship. Just to say this beforehand, I know women can be predators too. I'll rely on my own experiences and statistics though. Over 90% of perpetrators are male. But please stop the sexual assault. I'm sick of it. And stop thinking you have a right to my coochie or sex just because you bought me something or took me out to dinner. Last thing luckily never happens to me because my ego is too big to let anyone pay for me, but I've seen it a lot and have experienced it in some other way, like in the form of giving me a present and then getting angry if I reject them later. Oh man, all genders need to stop making generalized sweeping statements about each other. All men are like this, all women are like that, etc. It's vehemently stupid to do. All genders need to actually sit down and listen to one another, but more than listen, try to understand. I realize it's easy to have a few bad experiences and start saying, I hate them all. But that's immature and stupid. Instead, learn to communicate your needs, communicate what is bothering you, and for the love of God, don't act like every person of a gender are all the same just because of your personally bad experiences. Instead of standing around waiting for a guy to notice you and ask you out, ask him out. On behalf of all men, we're dumb as fucking shit when it comes to that. We're oblivious. Even if a woman put our face in her tits, we'd be there smothered in nips thinking, maybe she's just being nice. So it's best to be direct with us. If you wait for him to make a move he doesn't know he needs to make, some other girl with more confidence than you will come along and ask him out instead. Take your shot or miss it, ladies. I'm non-binary, so I got one for both of you. Men, stop bothering women in public when they don't want to be bothered. Of course women smile and laugh when you talk to them. They're trying to avoid being murdered. If they want to keep talking to you, they will. Women, if a man tells you you've done something that upset him, and your reaction is to get so upset that he has to comfort you, that shit sucks and is so invalidating. If you can't help reacting that way because you feel so strongly, I sympathize, but please Google distress tolerance before it happens again. Honestly, this goes out to everyone, and this is just what I've experienced, but show more respect to other people, have compassion. Understand that some people have lived life differently and don't judge them for it. There's nothing wrong with being different or unique. On the contrary, we're not supposed to look alike or be alike. That would also be extremely boring if that were the case. Embrace your inner self and embrace that in others too, and we might actually start accepting each other as we are. If none of this applies to you, great, then I'm not talking about you. Stop saying or doing things to signal you're interested in a long-term relationship when, in fact, you have no intention of committing. If I have one more man tell me I'm wonderful at being a girlfriend, I make them unbelievably happy, or that they like the idea of having a future with me, while also taking me out on fancy dates, but then turning around and saying, I'm not looking for a serious relationship, I'm gonna freaking lose it. Just state your intentions from the beginning and stop sending confusing-ass mixed signals. I wish they'd try to remember things more. I get some guys do make an effort, but there's a ton I know who just say, ha ha ha, I forgot, and expect me to be okay with it. Especially my boyfriend. It's annoying and I feel it's disrespectful. Most of them don't know it's an issue and he tells me all the time, I never said that, or I don't remember that, and seems absolutely unbothered by it. He didn't even remember my birthday and seemed annoyed when I gave him shit for it. Men using their incompetence as a way to get out of caring for their children. I don't have kids, but I've seen all too often online wives complaining about their husband's complete disregard for their kids and playing it off as, oh, I'm a man, it's just a guy thing. No. You're an asshole. Like, has anyone seen that video of the wife taking care of her sick kids while being sick herself, and she shows her husband napping in the guest bedroom alone? It's infuriating. I wish girls who are flirting with guys on bars or clubs, etc., just for the attention and free drinks would stop, or at least be very clear from the start. A lot of guys out there really struggle with women, so when they finally feel like they maybe are getting somewhere, and then find out the girl who has been flirting with him has no romantic interest in him after all, it can be pretty soul-crushing. This obviously applies to guys as well, but I feel like women have more power here. Stop showing the DJ a screenshot of your favorite Dua Lipa song. I realize that many entries in this sub are way more serious or important than this gripe, but man, if this isn't a stereotype. I'll be servicing an event and not once will a guy come over practically demanding a song, while girls will basically pull off your headphones so you look at their screenshot set at 100% brightness. No respect. I don't know, I'm probably just partaking in trashy events. Women need to stop covering themselves in an inch of makeup before taking dating site pics and then filtering the shit out of said pics, but then expecting men to look exactly like they do in their photos. A bloke who's gained 10 pounds and grown a beard since taking his photos is still looking way more like his natural self than you did in any of your fake-ass photos. Every man should have the terror of falling into the toilet at least once to recognize the benefits of leaving the seat down. And no, we can't always look before we sit. Sometimes it's dark and we're trying to save our eyes. We're in a vulnerable position and just trying to trust our toilet. Statistically speaking, if a man and woman share a toilet, the seat is down more anyways on average. If you like a guy, just tell him and stop dropping hints that you think are obvious but most guys are oblivious to. For example, my sister told me that she knew a family friend's daughter had a crush on me because said daughter would walk past me often. I was like, what the? But she did actually wind up trying to go out with me. Restricting our freedom. You can actually have a relationship and still respect the other person for being who they are and letting them be that person. For 90% of women, the ideal relationship consists of locking their man in a cage until he's domesticated to be their accessory. The woman that lets his man come and go is the woman that he'll always come back to. Women, stop letting these turd men treat you like garbage and telling yourself it's because there's something wrong with you. If someone is treating you badly, you don't have any obligation to be with them. If they love you, you'll feel supported and loved and safe and cared for. If they're abusing and manipulating you, you'll feel confused. Please be careful. I wish men would stop making video games such an awful space for women to exist in. The harassment most women are instantly bombarded with the second they join a voice chat is fucking awful. The amount of men who say they want a gamer girlfriend, then go on to treat girls who play video games like shit, astonishes me. Obviously, not all men do this. Need to preface this before getting comments saying, I'm a man and I've never done that. But only being nice to girls that you find attractive and pretty much flat out ignoring girls that you don't find attractive, you can still be respectful to someone even if you don't find them attractive. It's rude. Also, women need to stop body shaming men, whether they're skinny, fat, muscular, etc. People are way too comfortable talking about men's bodies as though they don't have body image shit just like women do. Policing gender norms in either direction, women policing manliness, men policing manliness, women policing femininity, men policing femininity, it just only harms everyone involved. I'd love it if more men took some of the mental load of a relationship. This includes siblings, parents, not just romantic. You live in the space too. You shouldn't have to be asked to do the dishes or general house tasks. If you can see it needs to be done, you can do it too. Ladies, stop thinking men are all mind readers. Your signs and hints mean nothing to us. Just tell us what do you want. Also, while this applies for both men and women, I've seen more women testing their partners. This is insulting and demeaning and means you have zero trust in your partner. Men. Taking for granted that women will do the emotional labor, remembering and making appointments, organizing holidays, shopping for the house, housework, childcare, elder care. Women, doing emotional labor that no one else cares about. You don't have to make the kid's birthday cake from scratch. If you don't enjoy it, don't do it. This is a minor thing that has become a pet peeve of mine, but I always get men, exclusively middle-aged men, tell me I look tired when I go out without makeup or to smile. This happens a lot. I started a tally. I just want to buy groceries. Guys need to stop sending dick pics. Seriously, what do you think you'll accomplish with this? Do you seriously think this turns women on? Just because you want boob pics doesn't mean they want to see you. Ladies, stop judging men by height. It's not something anyone can control. Stop giving too much details about how our sex life is. This is directed to females, not all of them though. For a guy, it's usually like this. I had sex with Melinda last night. That's good, how was it? Good. Goes back to whatever topic they were talking about. Trying to compare across genders. Men and women have their own unique problems in life. Men go through struggles that women won't understand, and women go through struggles that men won't understand. To try to compare the two in certain aspects is not productive. Men, stop being bitter about previous heartbreak and be open to love. Women, stop taking advantage of men because you're ruining it for the rest of us. TBH, it goes both ways, but this has been a recurring theme in my life lately. Picking a side would be great. Are you lonely and want to find a dude, or do you think everyone is an evil rapist? Don't say the first thing just to behave like the second one. That would be really nice, thank you. Girls, stop thinking guys and girls can't be friends without dating. And stop being jealous when a girl is friends with a guy. Guys, stop making fun of guys for not being into sports, being athletic, or they're not masculine enough. Stopping all sexual assault from both genders would be fantastic. And end the double standard that if a guy gets assaulted, he got lucky. So remove the embarrassment, the social stigmas, the religious stigmas about sex and sexuality in general. I cannot read your mind. I did not mean to piss you off. I did not know because, again, I cannot read your mind. Please communicate with words your feelings about something because I cannot read minds. Constantly being on their phone. It is even more troubling when things that concern them go on around them. While on that topic, my brothers, put the video games away sometimes for exactly the same reason. Joining dating sites out of boredom or to get Instagram followers. Not bothering to put a description showing you actually have a personality and there's anything at all to talk about with you. Can we stop pitting people against each other? But to give you an answer you actually want or are interested in, we need to stop making laws to govern each other's bodies in healthcare. I have two. 1. Guys have to stop assuming that every girl has a crush on them or wants them. 2. This is for everyone. Let males and females be friends without assuming they're dating. Sometimes I ask a question and they don't reply. I then follow up with something else and they reply to the second statement without responding to the first question. It's so goddamn annoying. 2 for 1. If women need something resolved for their gender, it's not an attack towards men. If men need something resolved for their gender, it's not an attack towards women. Feigning interest in a girl to get laid and then getting completely nasty and aggressive when a girl isn't down. It's really disgusting how pervasive this is with men. Stop watching corn and watch something educational about the human bodies. Learn and have amazing sex instead of watching two people acting. Stop trying to fill up empty days with shit. It's annoying. If a day is empty, I'd rather just stay home.